What's up, Saul? It's Dinosa on the doing Diary of a Wimpy Kid, RodRul's. This is something that was requested. Not normally my cup of tea, but an entertaining movie nonetheless. On that, the reason why it's entertaining because most of the things that happen in the movie happened to me, except for running around the underwear as a kid. I did it in college, but that's another story. But anyway, but here's the thing. This talks about the second movie after Diary of a Wimpy Kid with Greg, Roderick, and his whole family. And it only centers around Greg and Roderick. A lot of the other people, the introductions, the girl that's actually the really aggressive girl that's kind of tall, kind of big, kind of aggressive, the Dennis the Menace rip-off kind of girl. She only had really bit parts. Frankly had bit parts, and the fat redhead kid, forget his name, had routine appearances, but not anything solid really, other than the fact he was more of a side thing. He was a supporting cast, definitely. But the big news is that they're all going to 7th grade, and there's a new student, big surprise, and she is hot. And the 7th graders, that's when they discover girls, and they're like, whoa, she's so freaking hot. Okay, now, this is tradition. This is perfectly okay for a kid's movie at this age and all that, which I'm cool with it. But I just want y'all to take a moment of something and think about a couple of things about this movie. With Corey Feldman's claim that pedophilia in Hollywood is Hollywood's #1 problem. And I'm actually, after seeing what he said and looking at the past history of everything, I'm not sure how many people are involved in it, but there's definitely something there. Because the younger they're getting, the more they're trying to make them look older, the more they're trying to milk them for every little dollar. I think Miley Cyrus is the best example, where she was like 14, they try to make her look 17 for 5 years on that, and milked her for all she was worth, and she's still worth something, but never near with the Hannah Montana fame and all that, which still baffles me how her tickets were selling $3,000 tickets, because her stage was so big it was taking up 40% of the whole friggin' arena, which is interesting, but you know, ambitious. You know, that's the one thing I will admire about Miley Cyrus now, that she really had an ambitious stage, had an idea. Last guy I really remember who really cared that much about his stage and all that was Michael Jackson. That guy would do things when people said it was impossible. He'd find a way to do it, and he'd do it even if he was losing money. He would do it just because the people who came to that concert remembered what an awesome concert it was, and what thing they were losing money in concerts. I think one of the ones he lost the most money on is he jetpacked out of there or something like that, and he found a way to do it, or jetpack, I don't remember, but it you know, the accountants are like, what the hell, man, no, and he's like, screw you. On that, I own 51% of the Beatles. Don't worry about money. Do it. On that. And just like with one of my other videos, Otis, Jay-Z. Now, Jay-Z, arguably, I think he has more money than Michael Jackson. All he did was destroy a Maybach, which he could probably buy 40 of them. Okay. So, and all he did is going to turn around and auction it for some disaster relief. So, whatever. But I applaud him that they took things to the next level, and now we're going to see. One thing I don't like about this is we're going to see a bunch of videos now of people trying to destroy Learjets, or trying to destroy everything they can, make everything just look trashy, you know, to make it look cool. And it's like the Mad Max thing has been done over and over. I mean, if you're going to do the Mad Max thing, stick with the Dr. Dre Tupac video years ago, or even Mel Gibson with Mad Max. Stick with that. You know, go crazy like that. But I admit Otis was good. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. This whole thing has to do with the story revolving the coming of age of Greg and Roderick. Now, Roderick is in high school now, and Greg is now in 7th grade. So it's kind of a puberty / turning point where these kids are, you know, becoming adults, but they're also learning to get along. Now, of course, you all know the history. Roderick teased his brother-in-law. Roderick actually had his brother's back a lot. He told him here, even though he told him to do something, sometimes he was right, and he said it was going to happen, but he said it in a jerk way, which everybody ignored him. But then there were other times he's just doing it to be a jerk, and in the movie, in the start of the movie, they all go to the roller skating rink, and the new hot girl Holly's there, and he's like, oh, and well, I just talked to her, and Roderick's like, okay, big man, there she is at 8 o'clock. They're going to play a slow song. Why don't you dance with her? Okay, so he's like, okay, I'm going out there. So he goes out there, and he falls because he can't roller skate worth the damn. As soon as he gets to the girl, they start playing the slow music. Roderick gets up to the DJ and says, this is crap. Let's play rock and roll. And that's kind of classic stuff. That is brother or brother sister classic screw over stuff. That's funny. That's one thing I missed out. I didn't have a brother or sister on that. I really wish I did, but I didn't. But it's just funny to see that kind of stuff. I've heard the stories from my cousins on that. But anyway, as they get to the school, and before they get to the school, the mom has a new system called Mom Bucks. If the two get along, they get paid, basically. And Roderick, of course, found a way to screw the system over and get really paid. And now he's trying to figure out how to get more money from his mom and try to go forward with this on that. But what happened really is that they go to Greg goes to school. He thinks it was like his friend is still kind of a dork. He's like into magic and everything. He's like, dude, magic's not cool. What are you doing? On that, I disagree. Magic can be cool if it's done at the right time. On that, magic flaunted in the wrong situation is dumb. But magic done at the right time, I mean the hand thing, like flower thing, girls go nuts over that kind of stuff. But you can't do it like that day. You got to be a little mysterious about it. Like wait for the opportunity, then bust it out, and that's when it's a winner. Not just, hey, look what I did. Well, thanks, dude. You just blew your whole mystery, and that's what the basic point was. But anyway. Greg, of course, the Indian kid, I forget, is a Gumar or something like that, goes to India. Alright, and man, there's so many plot lines in this, but I'm just trying to keep them all straight. Let's see, so the kid goes to India, all oogling over this girl. Not Roderick, but Greg and the redhead kid have like sleepovers and all that. Both get kicked out. One time for a bad movie, another time with there. Typical sleepovers, typical people going home, typical everything. Typical parents, which are hypocrites, but not. And that's typical stuff. And also typical brother and sibling. Whereas later on in the movie, the teenager Roderick throws a party while the parents are all gone. So the parents all go out of town for a few days, and they're at the weekend, and before they leave, they got in trouble for something, so they had to stay here. No guests, no nothing. So they had this big party, and then Roderick locks Greg down in the basement. Well, Greg at first finds a rotary phone, doesn't know how to use it, but then figures out how to use a rotary phone. Calls up the redhead kid, I forget his name, and says, hey, I'm stuck in the basement, come get me. So he comes, gets him, and he gets caught by Roderick and thrown down the basement with his friend. So they're both in there. Then the mom calls while the party's going on. They're like, don't answer that, dude. So Roderick goes over and says, hi. And he says, and then Greg picks up the phone. No, Mom, I'm right here. I'm listening to everything. I'm awake. I'm down in the basement. At this moment in time, Roderick, what's his name? Greg had Roderick by his manhood right there. He had him dead, and he knew it. And so he let him off easy as long as he could come up and join the party. So they let him in and join the party, and now here we have middle school going to a high school party. Now here's the problem with this high school party: there's no booze. Absolutely no booze nowhere. At least they didn't show it. I know it's a kids movie, but nothing. But anyway, I mean, I would say if I had a grade teenage parties in movies, I would have to say the Uncle Buck one, where there was drinking beer and some guy trying to seduce some girl, and Uncle Buck drills with a power drill, drills through the lock to get into the room. That is more like a realistic party than this one, but it was still good. And it also shows the one moment where redhead kids can be badass, where he's like, Congo line! And all the girls got into it, and everyone's like, okay, let's do it. And the kid, for once, was a badass. And he's like, oh man. And it basically came out, oh, party of the year. Party of the year was awesome. You know, nobody could remember how good it was on that. So the party's over. And it turns out, because of while the parents were gone, his little brother got sick, so they're on home. So they have an hour to clean up. That says, usual typical thing. Why number one rule you never throw a house party here is that when everyone's done, everybody bails and you end up cleaning everything. On that, no one's there to help you afterwards, unless they're family. Nobody's there to help. So they get the whole house cleaned up except for a door, where they put RodRul's on this door, and they had to switch doors before the parents get in. The thing is, this door had no lock, and that becomes a big stumbling block in the whole movie. Whereas they swear the door had a lock, but no one could quite make it out. So anyway, the parents come back. The father is insistent, knows they threw a party, knows they just can't quite prove it. And what happened is they get off, they think they're getting away. So what happened overall is that everything, brothers are like, deny, and they're cool. They're having a great time. As brother said, they're team again. It's actually, they're enjoying themselves. They're going out. They're having a great time, And then what happened was the mom realizes there was a lock on the door and busts Gregory after questioning Roderick. Gregory tells the mom there was a party, but then tells her, I've been getting along with my brother. You tell him, it's just going to mess everything up. And uses her own word against her. But besides, he also used something else a little earlier where he says, I'm going to tell the truth on every call, including that. And he says, I can't lie. And he threw her mom under the bus a few times. It was great. And that's because your mom says, don't lie. But then when there's someone on the phone, they don't want to talk to you. Oh, just tell them I'm not here. No, I feel like lying. You better go outside.